In 2016, a 911 call came from a motel in Ohio. The call was from room 217. When police broke down the door, the room was empty, but the call stayed open for 4 minutes. Her name was Sarah. She was 22, traveling alone. At 1:32 a.m., she called 911, whispering, "Hello? Is anyone there? There's someone in my room." 911 operator said, "Ma'am, where are you?" Sarah said, "Room 217, Cedar Motel. The door is locked, but I can hear breathing under the bed." The operator dispatched police. 7 minutes out. Sarah said, "Please hurry. It's not moving. It's just breathing." Then the line didn't hang up. It stayed open. Police arrived 7 minutes later. The call was still active. They knocked. No answer. The manager unlocked the door. Room 217 was empty. The bed was made. No luggage. No Sarah. But on the nightstand, her phone was there. The call was still live. And from under the bed, a sound. Breathing. One officer got on his hands and knees to look. He jerked back, screaming. There was no one under there, just dust, but his face went white. He said, It said my name. Sarah was never found. Her car was still in the parking lot. The full 4-minute, 12-second 911 audio book was never released to the public. Only the last 10 seconds leaked. It's just Sarah's voice, very quiet. She says, "It's behind me." Then a sound, like a hand covering her mouth. Then silence. Room 217 at the Cedar Motel is still rented today, but after 1 a.m., the phone rings. And on the other end, someone is breathing. Would you stay in that room? In July 2019, something woke up in Lake Lanier, Georgia. It was 2 a.m. A family was on their dock. The son whispered, "Mom, there's a woman in the water." She was wearing a white dress, floating, not swimming. And the lake was too quiet. No crickets, no waves, nothing. She turned her head, looked right at them, smiled, waved one time, and sank, like something pulled her down. They called 911. Police came. Spotlights hit the water. Boats circled for hours. But the lake was empty, like she was never there. 3 days later, divers went down, 28 feet, and down in the black. They found her, sitting on the bottom, on an old church pew, eyes wide open, staring up, right at their dock. Her hair was floating around her. And in her hand, a tiny pink sandal, still clean. Police said a little girl drowned there in 1983. Lily. They found her dress, one shoe, but never her body, until that day. After that night, the family's son stopped speaking. On the 21st day, he wrote on the wall with a marker, "She's counting us." 2 months later, a man died at that dock. Witnesses said his last words were, "She came back for it. She wants her shoe back." Lake Lanier is built over 20 drowned towns, churches, graveyards. 250 people have vanished in that water. Divers say their lights go out, their radios crackle. And from the dark, you can hear it. A little girl singing, calling for her mom. In Louisiana, there's a house where the piano plays by itself at 3 a.m., and sitting at that piano are 2 little girls. The problem is, there are no kids in the house. This is the Myrtles Plantation, America's most haunted home. It's built in 1796. Beautiful mansion, 22 acres, but inside, it's a nightmare. It all started with a woman named Chloe. She was a slave who worked in the house. She got caught listening to the owner's conversations. So as punishment, they cut off her ears. She started wearing a green turban to hide it. One day, she snapped. She baked a cake and poisoned it for the owner's family. The wife and her 2 little daughters ate it. They were dead by morning. Chloe was caught and hanged, but she never left. Today, people who visit say they see her, a woman in a green turban, walking the halls with no ears. The staff cover all the mirrors at night because Chloe shows up in them, staring back at you. And then there are the children. Guests hear little girls laughing, running up and down the stairs. And that piano, playing by itself at 3 in the morning. In 1992, a guest took a photo of the house. When they developed it, there was a little girl standing in the window. The room was completely empty. The worst room is room 14. 3 different people have died in that bed. People who sleep there say someone sits on the edge of the bed and whispers in their ear. One man woke up and saw a man standing over him, wearing old clothes, holding a knife. Even today, they do ghost tours, and every single tour, something happens. Lights flicker, doors slam shut, and on the staircase, you can see them, small handprints, like a child pressed their hands there. They say at least 12 people have died on that property, and not one of them has left. In 1993, a Forest Service ranger in Montana found a cabin. It was stocked with food. A fire was still warm, but the family who lived there was gone. And the only thing left on the table was a tape recorder. Pressing play was the last thing he should have done. The name was Ranger Mike Hale. October 14th, 1993. Bitterroot National Forest. He was doing a routine check on a remote cabin. It was used by a family of 4, the Millers. They had been missing for 3 days. Their truck was still parked outside. The door was unlocked. Inside, everything was normal. Dinner was half eaten on the table, still warm, jackets on the chairs, boots by the door, but no people, no tracks in the snow, leading away from the cabin. Only tracks, leading to it from the tree-lined barefoot tracks, too large to be human. On the kitchen table was a cassette player. A was inside. Mike should have bagged it as evidence. He didn't. He pressed play. It was the voice of Mrs. Miller. She sounded terrified. It's 2:17 a.m., October 11th. Something's outside. It's been walking around the cabin for hours. It's mimicking us. It did my daughter's voice. It said, "Mommy, let me in, I'm cold." We didn't open the door, thank God. Then it changed. It did my husband's voice, from outside. "Honey, open up, it's me." That's when we heard it. A sound from the roof. Something heavy, dragging itself. The tape cuts off with a scream. Not hers, a man's. Mike stopped the tape. His hands were shaking. That's when he heard it. Above him, on the cabin roof, a heavy scraping sound, dragging, then a thump. Right over his head, the ceiling light swayed. Dust fell in his hair. He didn't wait. He ran. He made it to his truck and peeled out. In his rearview mirror, he saw the cabin, and on the roof, a shape, too tall, too thin, on all fours, watching him leave. The Millers were never found. The case is still open, unsolved. The Forest Service sealed the cabin. It's still there today. Rangers are told not to go near it, because every few years, someone else reports the same thing.